The following show has been rated R for the potential use of passionate cuss words and out-of-the-box ideas that may require you to change your behaviors and views of your current reality. Remember, you're the boss, so fucking act like it.
Ta-da!
Hey!
Now we got that out of the way.
Yeah, totally.
Fuck!
Oh,
that felt good.
I've been wanting to swear on this show for so long, but because we have so many parents in the audience who are usually like listening to this while carpooling with their kids on iTunes, which you can find us, download, and subscribe, and get every show.
Yeah.
Oh,
Should we explain why we are being so dirty-mouthed today?
We have one of our absolute favorite internet celebrities, Ash Ambirge from the Middle Finger Project. Like that. Because she's saying, F you world, as in fucking A, I'm living my dream life, traveling the world, being a writer, talking about truth, living experiences, and inspiring thousands of mostly women, but we're dudes, and we pay attention to all of our emails.
Yeah, we're still babes with balls.
Absolutely. And just in honor of Ash, because we know she likes to drink a little bit of vodka here and there, and we didn't have vodka, so we've got some brandy today.
Cheers.
To get into the spirit.
Smooth. Oh, jeez.
Delicious. So we've got a super special interview that's going to be hilarious and full of inspiration for all of you out there.
Right after this.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Blair, this just in.
This just in.
The internet has made it 100% possible to be your brilliant, ballsy, original, unconventional thinking self from anywhere in the world and make great money doing it. Gone are the days when you needed to suit up and head to the office and buy a used minivan before it's too late. Now there's no such thing. You can always start again, and that's what this website is about, because if I can do it coming from a rural Pennsylvania trailer park, you so got this. I promise. That is on the About page of Ash's Middle Finger Project website. And I mean, I tell you, I just want to go through some of the last blog posts that she's done. Last one was how to introduce yourself at a dinner party like a cool as a cucumber baller. Sometimes wonderful can still be heavy. Know who your haters are. One big, sexy question for instant clarification on what the hell do I want to do with my life? That sounds like a good one. How to write the perfect cold call email without making yourself sound like a grabby psycho. So as you can see, like this has been a website I've been subscribed to for the last 2.5 years.
You've been such a huge fan.
I've been a stalker, basically.
How many times have you asked her to come onto the show?
I've proposed to Ash a number of times, maybe 9-ish to 10. But I knew we had the in when all of a sudden Megan, Ash's assistant, joined the Great E-Course Adventure. I was just like, yes!
Yes, this is going to work.
Yeah, so somehow Megan pulled some strings for us.
Nice.
And we have Ash coming on the show. But before we get to the interview with Ash, we're 7 days away from going live with the new platform. And I'm like shitting my pants in excitement and a little bit of nervousness. Not really. That's just a metaphor for like, I feel things in my stomach.
Right.
Because there's a lot of details. As you all know, like the Great E-Course Adventure has been a beast. It's big.
It's huge.
We've gamified the shit out of it. Another swear word.
Nice. I gotta get better at that.
And we need to, we're trying to up the game with the next one. So we've come up with a little idea because we're switching over to Mighty Networks as of next week. Mm-hmm. And as you all know, it's not quite a gamified platform yet.
It's not fully baked yet.
No, they're still building it. And so there's no badges, there's no currency, which we've had on the Great E-Course Adventure. It's been great.
So we decided, what can we do to bring more fun and engagement, some real gamification?
Yeah.
So we came up with an idea.
The E-Course Games. Yeah. So that's a thing. You're all going to have a race to top of Launch Summit. and you're going to earn real cash by creating products. We're going to give you money to create your products.
Yeah.
What the hell are we doing?
Oh my God.
So
what a concept.
We're paying you to build your products. That's going to happen, and we're going to get more into that next week when we've wrapped our minds around it as well. But, you know, the brandy is making us talk. It's loosening the tongue a little bit, and we just committed ourselves.
Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Whatever that is.
I'm sure we'll have more details by next Tuesday on the show. So there's that.
Yeah. That's going to be fun.
And
we'll come up with a bunch of different, I was going to say exercises, but more like contests.
Yeah.
You know, that you get to actually do something, creating an e-course, whether it's a lesson or a little mini course, and log yourself along the way. And then if you finish and that's kind of like your entry into to submit, you know, the course or whatever it is, and then we'll jury that and choose the best one.
I mean, for us, we want to build a marketplace with hundreds of super innovative courses and all different types of life skills. And so for us, we're like, well, how do we do that? Oh, shit, we got to help all you make the greatest e-courses you can imagine. How do we do that? We're going to pay you to do it.
It was super interesting, too, when we did that email out there and getting everybody.
The survey.
Yeah.
We paid people to do our surveys. So we did a draw.
We got good results.
We had like, I think it was something like 35-40+% of you actually filled out the survey, which is an unusual statistic compared to our history.
And that just showed us that y'all like cash.
Yeah, and coaching. So we gave away to 2 people that filled it out. We did a random number draw. And 2 of you won $100 cash and an hour of coaching with Blair and I. Yeah. And that was Jessica Antonelli and Sarah McCann. And we're going to be meeting with them this week.
Yeah.
So apparently you're all motivated by money. And so are we. That's why we're raising our rates, which we'll get into next week. And all of you that are already members, good news. We've got good news for you. Yeah. But we won't get into that.
And our guest today is no stranger to money because she's built a 7-figure empire.
That's $1 million.
That's at least.
How many of you out there have dreams of building $1 million plus business online that allows you to travel the world, do work you're passionate about, and hang
write
out.
Your mind.
Yeah, write your mind.
Oh my God, that'd be so good.
So a part of the conversation I'm excited to dive into in T-minus 60 seconds is how do you actually find your voice? Like your authentic, real to you, talk however the fuck you want to talk because what you're saying is truth to you voice that will inspire the people on the recipient end. That's what I want to know.
Yeah. Without having to use brandy.
Exactly. Cheers to that.
All right.
But it won't hurt for today.
No.
So, Ash, are you there?
Ash.
Come in, Ash.
Ash.
She's in the house.
She's in the house.
Oh, she's in the house.
Slash the hotel room.
Yeah.
That kind of happened.
Nice.
Did you raid the bar fridge yet?
It's happening tonight. Tonight's the night. It's Tuesday, so duh.
Well, it's almost nighttime, so cheers to that.
Yeah. It's 3-something here, so I feel like that's almost appropriate. I need to be with you guys having some brandy.
I know. Come to Salt Spring Island, British Columbia. We'll pick you up at the ferry or the float plane, whichever your preference is.
Float planes are pretty cool.
Well, one on the way in and the other on the way out. That's always my standard.
That's a good way to go.
Yeah. So where the heck are you right now?
I got preferences.
Yeah, where are you?
Probably in the least glamorous place that I could ever be on a live interview talking about. However, I will say it. It is Lancaster, Pennsylvania, home of the Amish.
Oh.
Wow. So you building some wooden furniture, or like taking up a new hobby, you planting some gardens, building a barn, like what's the deal?
Teaching them bitches how to do this online.
Oh,
shit, yeah.
Not really. No, not really. I'm here. I have no reason to be here. I'm just traveling. I'm traveling through. And
passing through the neighborhood.
Today. Yeah.
Hanging with the Amish. I like it. Now, what are their hotels like?
You know what? There's like a couple of cool ones that are converted factories. So there's like Lancaster City. Most people think of the Amish and they think of the horse and buggies, which naturally.
Yeah.
But there's actually a whole really cute city to Lancaster, and they've got a lot of old warehouses, old factories that they've now converted into condos and things like this hotel. So this is a good example. It's very lovely. It's nice. It's artsy. It's cool.
Love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Artsy and cool, just like you and those earrings you're wearing right now.
Gorgeous.
Now,
I did this for you, Brad.
I love
I wore
it.
these for you.
I love it. They look like little hula skirts on your ears. It's fantastic.
Oh no, I'm never gonna be able to wear them again now.
No, it's fantastic. A little bit of aloha hanging from your ears. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Nice.
Now, I've been waiting to have this conversation for a while. I've been stalking on the internet for years. I feel like I can finally take you off my people to stalk list because there's actually a real connection here. It's great. You are the most fabulous, entertaining writer that I have followed. You're the only person whose emails come into my inbox on a weekly basis that I actually read that shit. How do you do that? And I know I'm not the only one. I know there are hundreds and thousands of people out there that love reading your thoughts. And I think like for most of the people that are part of e-course adventures who are trying to build lifestyle businesses and build courses around the things that they're most passionate about, like you're building online courses, you've got a really popular blog site, and you speak your mind in such a unique way that it's just so blunt and authentic. And I think like that is the thing that we should be diving into today is like how have you learned to find that voice that you write with? Because it's awesome and hilarious, and you literally bitch slap me in the face sometimes with those like punchy
Earrings.
words. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
I hope the next time you open one of my emails, you really will picture me bitch slapping you with one of these earrings.
Yeah,
That would be
totally. It'll make me giggle. I love it. Better than crying.
Thank you for such a generous introduction. That is awesome. And also so surreal to realize that I'm not just writing into the internet. There are actually people who are reading it there.
I'm a real human.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Look at you. You look a real human being.
Not
So are
even
you,
a
Blair.
cyborg. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I don't even have a chip in me yet. Like,
Just pinch him yet. Did you feel that?
no. What'd you do?
I pinched you. Are you sure you're real?
now I feel it.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, it's the brandy delayed reaction.
I love it. You know, I've been asked this question a lot over the years, and probably more relevant for your audience and listeners because everyone's building e-courses, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
we're talking now about the newsletter, quote unquote, and the blog and how important that is and how I've been able to leverage that into selling my courses and things and why people actually open my emails, which is lovely.
Yeah.
In case, just as a disclaimer, before we even talk about that,
Yeah.
if you are selling an e-course, please fucking write a newsletter for Christ's sake. But don't call it a newsletter.
Right. What do you call yours?
So I think this is like part and parcel to the part A of the answer is why do people open my stuff?
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
Some people, not all people.
Have you figured it out? Have you cracked the code?
I think there's a couple of reasons. I've gotten a lot of feedback over the years. I've read a lot of emails from people hitting reply. So based on those responses, I think I could give you an educated guess.
We like
And-
those.
Yeah, I think the reason is number one, because of what I'm writing on the blog, they found it to be really authentic and relevant to what they're going through right now.
Yeah.
So I've gotten a lot. If I could name all the feedback that comes back, the number one thing that people say to me is, I feel like you were in my brain, which is definitely creepy. And but I can't tell you how many times people respond back and they're like, I feel like you're looking in my windows. Are you there? What's happening? So I guess if I had a superpower, it would be to really put myself in other shoes. I think empathy is a part of this.
Yeah.
So much more than most people think about. And I really do consider, and I remember my own journey and where I was, and I actively think about what that felt like on a daily basis. And I try to then respond to that. I almost kind of have a weird conversation with myself. Like,
Right.
me then versus me now. And responding to that has produced this effect where people who are now going through the shitstorm are like, wow, I feel like you have just crept into my brain.
Yeah.
So I think that's why, like, that's the first part of it. Like, having people sign up to read what you're writing is incredibly important, because you could write all day long, and if no one's reading it, it's not going to move the needle for you financially.
Yeah.
So right.
Before
So I
we
think
get to
that's
phase
like part
two,
A.
are
right?
you kind of like, are you writing to your past self? Like when you sit down to write, are you thinking about like little Ash, who's, you know, just starting out on her entrepreneurial journey, and she's like anxious and overwhelmed and scatterbrained? Like, is that kind of what you picture in your mind, or is there a specific somebody who you write to, or does it change? Like, just curious.
It changes.
Yeah.
It changes. I mean, sometimes I'm with little Ash. Let it be
Little
known
Ash, I like that.
that stomach pooch of yours is never gonna go away. So just get over it now. And instead, do this other thing.
I'm with you. I'm with you, sister. It always stays. It doesn't matter how many crunches I do, how many green juices I drink. It's just there. A little muffin around the sides. You gotta love it.
Yeah, I try to use more. I mean, sometimes myself, yes, I do get into my own head, but sometimes people, when they respond to me via email, clients I work with, students I have that respond, I read all of the emails. It's just not always in real time. So I use that as a form of research, and it's useful to like remind yourself what it feels like to be someone who doesn't know. You know, it's like the curse of knowledge. And when you know, you're like just over it.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to serve people that don't know, that's a big problem. And it's probably one of the biggest challenges there is to being an expert in your field and trying to teach other people. You forget that other people have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a part 2. Is that a part of part 2, or continue?
Yeah. So, I mean, part 1 is definitely like making sure that people can relate to what you're talking about. And even if it's a specific subject matter, even if it's science, whatever it is, you have to write about that on their level to get them to then opt in. But then once they do opt in to hear more, I think the second part of that is really just not being afraid to be brutally honest.
Right.
That's not going to be everyone's style, but I think that there's something to be said about brutal honesty, even if you do it in a way that's more polite than perhaps I would, right?
I love how unpolite you are. Like it's just so refreshing to have somebody speak the truth and to do it in such an entertaining and honest way.
Thanks. Listen, like, I won't ignore the fact that my background is in public relations. I have an entire college degree on that, on like the art of the spin, and advertising and marketing. That was my career prior to this. So I am no fool to the fact that I had a little bit of training when it comes to like making people want to read what you're writing, for example, or making people excited about what it is to click. I will say that that's true, but I think there's more to be said about getting someone to click in again. I mean, that first click is cheap. Anyone can get that first click. But when you have someone clicking in again and again and again to read your writing, that's something else. And I think that that is a new kind of relationship that we're forming that most people aren't even thinking about in terms of relationships. Everyone's still thinking about in terms of like newsletter and what do I have to do to make this work? It's a relationship. We're digital people these days. And if I sat in front of you, even in a bar, and I was like, hi, Brad, my name is Ash, and welcome to the Middle Finger Project. It's just you're not going to listen to me ever.
That's one thing I love is even just your name when you get into it. It's like, yo, it's Ash, you know? And that starts it right there. I'm like, oh, heck, this is fun.
Yeah.
It's so much better than just, right? It's like, yo, it's Ash.
Yeah, well, that's, I mean, the tag that's like on every single one of my emails for consistency purposes. So people recognize my name in their inbox.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're all very self-important and we all think that everyone's going to remember who we are, but people don't. And they need, especially if you're only writing like once a week or something or less, they'll never remember you. But yeah, I think the second part of that is like being a real human and saying really what's going on, because people trust those who are not afraid to stand up and speak some truth. I think that's really,
It's so needed.
I think it's important.
It's so needed.
Yeah, I know.
Even if they don't agree with you, they will follow you.
Yeah.
And they'll still buy your stuff, which is all you really care about if we're talking about e-courses and financials.
It's really important to have people purchasing
That's
when we're in business.
Important part of the cycle. Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a hobby. And I think we're all here to try and build businesses that we're super proud of. Now, I'm curious, when you started out, you know, when you decided that you were going to quit your jobs and start working for yourself, like what was your goal at that time? What were you actually trying to achieve, or what was the vision you had in your mind? Is it what you're living today, or was it something different?
Well, I think goal is an ambitious word. I don't know that I had so many of those back then.
Yeah.
I think, like many people, I just knew I was dissatisfied with the status quo and trying to figure out what the next move was, but not knowing what that was. I don't think anyone can really say with any certainty, yes, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to become a blogger on the internet. I'm going to sell to people around the world, and they're going to buy my e-courses. Like, no, never. It was so weird.
Yeah.
No, I think it's all an iteration, and I think that's the cool part of this. But back then, I do think that having some level of freedom with my life was important to me.
Yeah.
I didn't know how I was going to accomplish that, but I knew that kind of, I guess if we have to put it in terms of goals, was like my goal.
Yeah.
How can I do something that it's not an attack on the 9 to 5. I mean, that works certainly from a financial standpoint for manufacturing. It's great. But for me personally, does it work? And it didn't work.
Yeah.
So what next? And I had to work my way into that by figuring it out slowly but surely. It was not systematic, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah. Usually isn't. It's usually pretty random and flaily. I'm an octopus. I don't know what to do. Just take the next step.
Yeah.
So I've been noticing, you know, the last couple of years, you've been starting to build a lot more online courses and doing trainings, and specifically working with women to help them build businesses. How, because we're all course creators here watching the show, we're all people that are trying to build educational experiences. I haven't gone through your courses yet because I'm not a woman, and they're definitely marketed towards women. Although, you know, there's a part of me that just wants to make up an anonymous persona and go in there and see what's up. But how do you approach courses? Like, what's the kind of preparation you do before creating a course, and what's it like inside of the course? Because we're all course nerds here.
Yeah, I mean, I do have this like really awesome advantage of having this really great email list full of people who are telling me all the time what they still need help with.
Yeah.
So for me, that's something that not everyone has the luxury to have.
Yeah.
I will say, it's been really great, but that's also why I think it's important to build an email list. I think email lists I can't stress this enough. If I could just say one thing about email lists, it's that you fucking need one. Don't mess around with all the other stuff. Like, forget Instagram, forget Twitter, forget all that other stuff for now. Like, just get an email list.
Yeah.
It's really the most important thing you could do in the online course creation realm.
Great advice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think you need to say it one more time.
Yeah.
Get a fucking email list.
Sister.
Send it home.
And to all of you out there that are subscribed to the eCourse Adventures email list, thank you. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
We
and
do
if you're
this
not,
for you.
fucking sign up.
Yeah. What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the
It's the
heck?
relationship piece that I was talking about earlier.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brad.
You
Hold on.
should
I just-
PG. Yeah,
cheers.
shrink up. You said heck.
I said heck.
Oh.
I'm still in PG land over here.
Sorry, Blair.
It's well trained. I know.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's the relationship piece. Having this email list is critical. And like you guys just said, didn't you send out a survey or something recently?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We pay people to
Yes.
fill out our stuff and complete our courses, though. Like that's one of the things that we're learning. You just gotta pay your audience to do the thing that your brand is promising they'll do. And if you just like offer them cash, all of a sudden it's like everybody wants a piece of it.
Cha-ching. Yeah, show me the Benjamins, buddy.
Yeah.
Tony Benjamin. Yeah. Email lists are really important. And what was the original question we were talking about? I forget. Oh, how I create courses. It's
Right.
that. I mean, I listen to people and I listen to what they want.
Yeah.
And then instead of repeating myself 1,500 times a day,
Yeah.
I write a course about it.
Way
Nice.
to go.
So much more efficient, not only for me, but for them. And we
Mhm.
all know if you can package your knowledge at this stage in the game, like if you're not packaging your knowledge at this stage of the game, you're very far behind.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
it's kind of like it's a no-brainer at this point. You have to do it. Why wouldn't you do it?
It's just kind of like I see so many people procrastinate on it. You know, they blame that they don't have enough time, or they've got too many things, or they can't get it perfect the first time. Like all of these excuses for just not creating the first version, and then the second version, and then the next version, and then just keep making it better as you go. I'm just curious, like what set you on the path of doing what you're doing right now? That like, what was the moment of defining where you're just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go all in on this, and this is what I'm doing, and if I fail, whatever, it'll be a great story, and if I succeed, then I'm gonna take a whole bunch of people with me. Like, what was the defining moment for you where you finally had enough and you just went for it?
I mean, you know my backstory, right?
I
You
do.
must know about the Kmart parking lot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but I don't think everybody knows.
Can I bring that up?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I don't know about it. So
He doesn't know.
Yeah. School
I
me,
mean,
Ash.
it's weird when you start getting so far into this game. It's almost like you don't even have those thoughts anymore because you've seen it happen so many times that you know it's like almost a guarantee. It's proven. Courses, for example. But in the beginning, it certainly was not. And this is another great example of like going back in time and putting myself in those shoes and thinking about where I was then. And where I was then was just like this. Remember, like the octopus flaily,
Yeah.
wanted something different. I had a respectable job with a respectable salary, selling advertising for a magazine. I was really good at it. I loved my clients. They were fucking awesome. They liked me, I think. I mean, most of them.
Mhm.
And I walked into my boss's office after I had a meeting with a guy. There's always a meeting with a guy, right? I had a meeting with a guy who, his name was Lenny.
Good name for a guy.
His name is definitely Lenny. For this story, it's a great name. This is kind of like the moment of truth for me where I was doing this work and I knew it wasn't really right, but there was no like lightning bolt. But I had worked really hard for many months to get this guy named Lenny to agree to a meeting with me. And that's difficult when you're just calling someone on the phone and being like, yo, Lenny, meet with me.
I think you have experience. It sounds
Ash.
familiar.
Ash, come on the show, please. Excuse me, Ash's henchman. Can I get through to Ash, please? Nothing like that, though.
Yeah, full circle. Hey, Ash. Whoa.
Dead. Right
Yeah.
now.
This is my Lenny moment. It's going to change everything.
Nice.
Well, no, I think once you hear the rest of the story, you might not want to be associated with this guy.
Okay, continue.
Okay, yeah.
Next thing I know, Lenny finally agrees to meet with me, but he's like, except it can't be in the office because I'm a busy man with busy things and whatever. So you have to catch me on my way to whatever other meeting. Meet me at this podunk restaurant in the middle of nowhere And I'm like, cool, I'm going to get the biggest deal signed. I'm so excited because I just know once he takes my meeting, I'm in. Got it. So I met him at the Podunk restaurant. I probably should have known it was going south. The minute he looked at the waitress and said, we'll take 2 of the regular. And she brought Long Island iced teas in the middle of the afternoon. So I was like, well, all right. I'm from Scranton. I can do
this.
Fine, Lenny, if this is what it takes to get the contract signed. And so he starts just like talking, and he's talking over me. And he's just like talking about how some of his employees fucked his wife. I'm not just making that up. He started saying super inappropriate things. And I'm like, can we get to the point? So finally I've got to just like take control, and I start talking to him a little bit more about how we can help. And at that point, he takes his satchel and he takes his Polaroid camera out of his satchel, and he starts snapping Polaroids of me, like as I'm talking about advertising. And I'm like, are you serious right now? Like, this is like the moment of truth for me, that the corporate world was not for me. Because I'm just like, are you serious? But I still wanted the deal.
Right.
So
you're still thinking about the Benjamins, baby. So you're like, all right, yeah, I can go with this.
Okay.
What else you want?
I mean, I was not going back to the office without a signed deal. And in fact, I won awards nationwide for getting the most amount of deals signed on first meeting. So I was just like in it to win
voguing for them, right?
Like,
oh my God.
Thank God Instagram wasn't invented yet. So I look at the waitress, she's looking concerned, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to Scranton this up. I get up and I sit down next to him in the seat. It was kind of like a booth. And I look at him and I take the camera very gently, and I'm like, okay, Lenny, so I'm gonna make a deal with you, and I'm gonna take this camera into the bathroom, and I'm going to take a very special picture for you. But while I'm doing that, you are going to take this contract and you are going to sign right here. And then we're going to trade. Does that sound fair? And he was like, well, I know a good deal when I hear one, whatever. And I was like, yes, done. Awesome. So I take his camera, I go into the bathroom, I come back out. I hand him the picture, I take the contract, and I walk out, and I hear him like groan from the parking lot because he definitely did not expect a picture of my middle finger. So that was like my last meeting. That was my last meeting that I ever took at the end.
And then the Middle Finger Project was born from that point on.
Fuck
right?
Yeah.
How good did you feel walking out of there?
I was nervous. My heart was pounding. I thought he was going to chase after me in his big old pickup truck. So I didn't feel that great. I just felt just like principled, really.
Yeah. Way to go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yes. So I think we all have those moments at some point where it's like, motherfucker, what am I doing? Like, I'm making money for this company and I'm doing a good job. But at the end of the day, what have I done?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a difference,
Yeah, we're on planet Earth right now. This is insane that we exist and that we have the ability to do things with our bodies and our minds. And most of the shit that we're doing is in complete, like, it's the opposite of what we would be doing if we were free humans. And the thing that's stopping most of us from being free is a choice. We believe that we have to do the thing that we're doing. And I think there needs to become a moment. I mean, I remember my moment as well. And I think every successful entrepreneur had a moment they were like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm wasting thousands of hours of my life doing this thing I actually don't even believe in. And like what that does to us is, eventually we kind of like shut off and go numb to the fact that we're living out of alignment. But it's just, I love that story. I love that you went for it. And that's why I wanted you to tell that story. Because I think there's so many people. I mean, I know there's hundreds of people in our community who haven't fully 100% committed to their path. They know the path. They know it's there. They can see it, but they're afraid. They're afraid to actually boldly say, this is what I'm going to do. They're just kind of dabbling, you know? Like, I'm sure you see a lot of dabblers that are like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I want to do this. And then they just sort of like dabble, but they're not 100% convinced that that's actually what they're going to do. And they're going to all of a sudden devote their mental, creative, emotional energy to that path. And so I'm just curious, like, what do you say to those people that are just like, they're just kind of sitting on the fence and they're watching other people jump over the fence, but they haven't quite mustered the courage to do it?
Yeah, I mean, I think those people are all of us in some ways where we're not sure. We have an inkling that we might want to do something, but we're not sure. And I think to them, I would say you have to be okay with not finishing, which is contrary to what it seems like jump over the fence, just go ahead and do it. But I think there's a lot of pressure to like finish all the time. If I start this thing, like, right, in our culture, it's very much a don't start something you can't finish mentality. Yeah. And I think that's wrong. I think that for me, I learned a lot by giving myself permission to start lots of stuff afterwards, after Lenny, start lots of stuff and be okay without finishing it if I didn't like it, if it didn't work for me. And usually that's not something we have the liberty to do because people are like, well, what are you doing with that thing? Like, is it going to lead somewhere?
Right.
And I think it is leading somewhere, but just not in a straight line.
Totally.
I think that the best path to success is a lot more like this. And starting and finishing, like just stopping stuff is great. And I think that anyone who's on this journey should focus more on stopping and quitting than they think they should start and finish.
Ooh.
If that makes sense.
I like it. I mean, I'm just going to pose that to the community right now. What is one or two things you could quit today? That you could just stop? And maybe it's actually our community. Maybe you need to quit your membership because you're actually not wanting to create courses. And if that's the case, then God bless you.
Yeah.
No, I mean, but back then, like after Lenny, I was doing random shit. I took plane flying lessons with red cowboy boots on, which is ridiculous. The instructor thought I was just a mess. He was like, what are you even doing?
It's because you showed up to lessons with vodka.
Let's fly this plane.
Let's do it. Yeah. I'm ready.
Yeah, I took plane flying lessons. I volunteered at literacy centers to help people read. I tried to submit my writing to the New York Times, and they were quickly like, hate you. I tried to learn pottery. I took creative writing classes like at local adult schools. I started learning about interior design and painting at one point. Gardening came in at one point. I tried so many things, and I think it was good because then I was just like, oh no, ruling that one out.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Narrow down the spectrum a little bit.
Yeah,
Totally.
There's value in that.
So
a lot of value.
Did you learn anything from the community college about creative writing? Because that seems to be definitely a strength of yours.
The focus was on travel, so I will say, shit. I don't remember because it was so long ago now. I've been doing this thing online for 10 years now, so that was before that. I don't remember anything specific, but I remember being surrounded by old people and being like, wow, is this going to be my life? You spend your life doing something you don't like, so then when you're 59 years old, you can attend a night class for adults.
I never bought that story ever.
Writing.
Yeah.
Totally. It was just like, I'm not going to spend all my good years doing shit stuff so I can, like, when I'm, uncomfortable and overweight and old, and then I can start having fun,
Yeah. I built a house with a guy before this big, like, complete changeover into my current lifestyle. And I had like the picket fence. We did actually have a literal picket fence.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I did all of that stuff, but he was very much of the mindset. He was a brilliant guy, but his mentality was, let me work as hard as I can now, save as much money as I can now. So therefore I will be comfortable later. Right. And my mentality was like, I want to be really comfortable now. I want to feel great now. Let's do some stuff now. Let's travel now. I want to live right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. You sound like an Aries. When's your birthday?
I'm actually a Cancer.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
have a lot of really good friends that are Cancers.
Cancers are great.
I mean, I'm on the cusp of Gemini. I don't know if that's good or bad, but.
My son's a Gemini, so you're cool with me.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're cool.
regardless, you're cool.
Yeah.
You're cool.
Yeah.
That probably actually helps you be empathetic with your customers or your peeps, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm to correct everyone. I'm empathetic when I'm writing. I'm not empathetic with customer service, which is why I don't do it. Which is why you've never seen me in my email. I'm actually very impatient when it comes to that stuff, and I will admit it freely. I'm terrible.
So, yeah, I was just gonna say. So, like, since we called this "How to Write Like a Fucking Boss," let's turn the focus a little bit on that. So, people are tuning in right now to learn how they can really start upping the ante on their creative writing themselves.
Because writing is a superpower, and you are proof that is truth.
Yeah, you do a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I do think it's weird. I mean, I just had an editorial meeting with my editors for our new book coming up, and they said to me, and this is like segging into that, they said to me the best asset of this book is the voice. It's the voice of your writing, as opposed to the ideas, which is terrifying because it's like, well, thanks a lot. But it's true, and it's the value of being able to write well when you can take any idea and kind of sell it to people on paper.
Yeah.
Just simply by the way you're framing something.
Yeah.
And if I could give anyone advice out there who's thinking about how can I translate my ideas onto the page, I think the most important thing people need to do is stop writing and start thinking. Literally get off the computer.
Yeah.
Writing itself is a completely separate task only after you already have your ideas. And most people skip the idea part. They just start writing and thinking they're going to come up with ideas as they go. And it doesn't happen because writing is a really scary process for a lot of people. They have a lot of pressure, that they put on themselves and putting the right words in order. So it's super paralyzing. But I think that the best thing about writing, actually, the most important thing that would make you a great writer is not really the way you write. It's more what ideas you are presenting and then how you're putting them onto the page. But first you need some ideas. You need to think about what you're trying to say. So for that, I get off the computer completely and I start by writing by hand. What do I actually think about a topic? Yeah.
In a real journal.
Like a real, printer page.
Or that. I got one of these doohickeys. Great technology,
Whoa,
There's
old
ideas
school.
everywhere. Scribbles, numbers. There's all sorts of stuff. And I use one of these.
What's that?
It's like a 40-cent pen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really important. It's like the most important thing you could do before you even try to write it, before you even think about your voice, before you think about all that other stuff. Like, what are you trying to express? What's your argument? Do you have one? This is a weird thing that not many people think about when they sit down to write something, and they're just like, I'm just going to talk about it. But having a discussion with yourself on the page is not the same as coming up with an argument and then making it.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Yeah.
It's really important that 50% of the people reading your stuff agree with it and 50% of the people don't.
I remember you saying that in an article, and I was like, "Oh yeah, they're either a fuck yes or a fuck no."
Yeah.
Yes. And
yeah.
I mean, literally, getting into the book world right now, they have expressed the same ideas to me when it comes to this book. They're like, we want the same polarization to happen.
Yeah.
So it's like not just in my head. It's not just me. This really is a thing, I suppose.
Yeah. I think so. People are so afraid to write something that could be controversial that they would have 50% of the people reading it say, fuck no, and attack them, essentially. Whether it's with written threats or whatever, Facebook trolls.
You're doing a good job when you start getting trolled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's your job when you're writing something. It's not to summarize shit.
Yeah.
Nobody needs a summary. Google does that fine.
Totally.
It's your job to write something that 50% of the people will disagree with.
Right, to be provocative, start creating some insight. Yeah, people don't like change.
So do you have, when you're writing blogs and you're creating courses, like, do you have a specific writing practice? Like, you know, do you schedule your writing on paper time where you actually sit back and think? Is that in your calendar, thinking time, essentially?
No, it probably should be. That would be very organized of me, Brad. No, when I sit down to write a blog post, I think about it first. I don't sit down and write the blog post. I sit down and think about what I think about whatever topic it is, or I keep like in my notes for my iPhone all the time. As I'm walking down the street and I see some guy do something really dumb, I write that down really quick, because that's when I have the idea.
Yeah.
You know, that's when I'm thinking about things actively. And that's when the best ideas come, is when you're in context of what's going on around you, and you jot it down. And I try to write in as much detail what I'm thinking at the time, because I can't write a blog post on the fly, but I can come back to that in 2 days and be like, wow, this was a really good point I had, and I was thinking about that. So what's the argument? How can I expand on that? And does this matter to people? Sometimes I throw those out because it doesn't matter to anybody, but sometimes I'm like, you know what, this really could be useful for someone.
Yeah. Could you open up for yourself the definition of argument that you're using? What does that mean to you?
I think if you have an argument, you are clearly taking a position, right? On one, you're having an opinion. That's it. You have an opinion. So many people don't have opinions, like you talked about. We write things because we want to be accepted by lots of people that are writing it, because most people view writing as being this like just a summary task. It's not a summary task. Your value as a writer or as a course creator trying to draw attention to yourself in the marketing realm is to have an opinion on something. And even if not everyone agrees with it, it doesn't matter. It's what's worked for you. It's what's working for you now. It's what you think about things after having so much years, of experience, whatever. That's what people want from you. They don't want a summation of, what everyone else thinks and conclusion. It's like, you need to have an opinion. So to have an argument, you have to have one.
Yeah. And that's for a lot of people, that's a scary concept. If you look through history and just like what our ancestors went through when we had opinions, there's a lot of people that died, and that's sitting in our DNA. From my experience working with people on that sort of stuff, and just, has that always been something easy for you, just to have a strong opinion, or did you grow into having this ability?
Such a good point. Is like in your DNA to not want to rock the boat, right? And even when you think about times earlier when it was like the employer economy, when everyone was trying to get a job, you didn't want to stick out. You wanted to kind of like not rock the boat.
Yeah, just keep the job. This is feeding my family. Yeah.
Right. But the creator economy that we're kind of in now is so different. You have to be distinctive in order for it to work. So to answer your question, I think it's an evolution and process. Personally, I think that I am much more myself on paper than I ever am in person, which is difficult sometimes, because you struggle with, am I aligned? Am I being authentic? But truth be told, I'm a nice person. I also am a salesperson. So I have this like nagging ability to talk to anyone and placate them. I mean, I really can, like, to whoever it is. You could be a Trump supporter talking to me right now, and I would just be like, oh, that's very interesting. Very diplomatic in those ways, but I'm thinking through that, and my ideas come out in words, which is why I'm a writer and not a public speaker.
Right.
I mean,
you were against videos for a long time too, weren't you? Like, you only wrote, and you didn't do videos, you didn't do interviews.
No.
Select.
I never. No, I've always done interviews.
That was just the excuse you wrote.
I took a break.
I get
no,
it.
I took a break for a while because I was just super busy, and traveling is like awkward. I don't have a great mic. I don't have good lighting. I'm like in front of a window right now. Like,
you look great. I like it. I mean,
you can see the shadows on my face. So for a long time, I let that get in the way because I was just like, oh, it can't be perfect though. So I would never want to do someone the disservice.
Yeah.
But I didn't do video in general. Like I don't have my own YouTube channel. I don't have my own podcast. I don't have any of those other avenues just because I know they're not my strength. And why
and
bother?
that is really for
I
the
love
public
that, though.
speakers.
That's so good.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's for the public speakers. People who have the speaking ability. Some people are much better speakers than they are writers. Yeah.
Yeah. Double down on that shit.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that you're great at, double down at it. That's your signature.
Yeah.
That's your signature. And that goes back to voice. I mean, I wanted to mention that when we were talking about writing and talking about voice. Like so many people confuse tone and voice, and they think that just because I'm sassy with my writing, that's my voice. But really, it's not the same. I think tone is, I could be happy or I could be sad. I could be writing something happy or writing something sad, but it doesn't matter because you'll still know that I wrote it. So the tone changes, but the voice doesn't. Your voice is your signature.
Yeah.
It's definitely like people know that you wrote that, and the way you do that is by coming up with like your own set of distinctive kind of marks in your writing. Do you use hyphens or do you use semicolons? Do you capitalize things? How do you present ideas even? Like, do you have kind of a jokey tone? Are you serious? Like, how do you present things in general?
Yeah. So on that note, we have an exercise in the great ecourseadventure.com, folks that aren't in it right now. And it is, if your course or brand had a personality, like if it was a human, if your brand was a human and it had its own personality and way of communicating, how would you describe it? And so the Middle Finger Project, everything you write, the way your entire website is presented, it has a very distinct personality.
Feisty.
Absolutely. And so I'm just curious, like, what would be the descriptive words that you would use to describe the Middle Finger Project if it was a human?
Well, I mean, I think I can tell you right now that in terms of books, we've been talking about Caitlin Moran. Do you know her? She's a British author.
No. I'm gonna write her
You
down.
might not know her. Oh my God, you'll love her. She's fabulous. She's also a truth teller. She's really got an irreverent kind of voice, but she speaks on the topics very much of being a woman in modern day and kind of that stuff. I've been talking to different editors who have pitched me as the Caitlin Moran meets Seth Godin. So Caitlin Moran for business and career. I think that's useful, but I think that if you had to like think about me in terms of like, I don't know, celebrities maybe that people can relate to, I'm totally Taylor Swift on the like the deep poetic shit meets Rihanna, where my outside is like, rah!
Now, what words would you use to describe the personality of your brand?
Irreverent, definitely. Free. Spontaneous. Enthusiastic. I'm very enthusiastic about things. Curious. Strong. Open.
Fucking hilarious. I'll just throw that in there.
Thanks.
Like I seriously,
Maybe real.
Yeah.
Like real.
I've laughed out loud on many occasions reading your emails.
It's true.
Yeah.
True story.
Yeah.
Thanks. Do you know, like for the people wanting writing tips, the reason why anytime, thank you that you would have ever laughed at anything I ever wrote. God, it's such an honor. The reason why people laugh at things that other people write is because it's true.
Yeah,
and they
funny.
recognize something as being
Funny
like,
because it's true.
oh my God, that's so true. But they haven't thought about it yet.
Yeah.
And then they read it and they're like, oh my God. And if you can be a writer and you can juxtapose two things together and create a truth for other people, and they're like, oh my God, you can elicit those words. Oh my God, that's so true. They will read your writing no matter what you write. I promise.
So speaking of exercises, do you have an exercise to offer our viewers?
Yeah.
To improve, like just right out of the gates here, one thing that they can start to improve their voice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like improving your voice, like getting the signature is something that you cannot get without writing, right? It's like trying to be an expert salsa dancer without ever salsa dancing. You have to certainly like work your way into it. But something that I did when I was younger and that I think was useful was reading some of my favorite writers. So Caitlin Rand's a great one. Irma Bombeck, she's like an old school humor writer who's really great. Even like modern day folks like Amy Schumer writing, like the girl with the lower back tattoo, they have distinctive voices, whether it's on the page or not. And reading these people and then trying like actively to write something that would imitate their style.
Emulation, yes.
Like that.
Sounds like a shitty idea because you're like, no, I don't want to sound like them. If you're trying to come up with your own signature, that's contrary to what you should do. But at the same time, if you don't have a signature, you need a starting place. So starting by just paying attention and getting that awareness around, okay, let's deconstruct this then. What makes that a great sentence? Why? Why do I like this paragraph? Why did this resonate? Why did I highlight that? Why do you highlight the stuff you highlight in your Kindle? Go back through and look at that and actually ask yourself those questions. They will bring the awareness that you need to the front of your brain to be able to then do it yourself when you're sitting down in front of a blank page and being like, well, where should I start? I don't know.
I like that. To be a writer, you need to read.
Oh, God, you so need to read. You just do. And it's like annoyingly cliche. But I think importantly, looking at what you highlight, looking at what you see for yourself, and then being cognizant enough to pay attention to
it's
why.
So reminiscent to musicians, you know, like you start emulating your record collection and the people you're listening to, and it eventually just becomes your own. Like you know, look at the Beatles, right? They just took all that old blues music from the South, you know, the United States South, and started emulating that. Eventually they started taking LSD and did their own thing, but
so that's step 2 is like emulate other authors. Step 3 is LSD, and then you will just
take your
mash
drugs
it all together.
Yeah.
No, but it's true. You have to have the courage to put your own twist on it. And going back to like having your own opinion about stuff, really important. When you look at someone's sentence and you have the courage to say, I like this sentence because of X, but you know what? Here's what I think could be better about that sentence. A lot of people don't have the courage to actually stand contrary to something that's already been done or something that's done well. But developing that like backbone, that little piece of opinion of your own that's like, you know, here's what I think about stuff. And that slowly gets you to your own style. You can take things that are working well, but then putting your own spin on it.
I love
Here's
it.
how I would do it.
I love it. Do you recommend people write every day? If they're just getting into this and they need to like, do you recommend that they just, even if it's 250 words or something?
I mean, for your audience, as an audience of e-course creators, no. For an audience of writers who want to be actual writers, I mean, if you're not writing every day, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, for course creators, we are professional writers. We write the content, we write the scripts, we write the storyboards, we write the curriculum, like all of the things that we do. Like when people ask me what I do, like I'm a professional writer. You know, we write everything we do is in written form first before it appears on the big screen or the little screen, whatever screen you're watching.
Yeah, well, I mean, if that's the case, if you're like writing a course right now, I think you have 2 options. You either need to put it front and center and imagine like this was your only job. Just do it, like bang it out, even if it's just a weekend. Just put yourself, like take yourself on a retreat, rent a hotel room for the weekend and focus on nothing but that. It's really important. I don't think every day is sustainable for a lot of people. I would like to say yes, but I actually don't think it is. So being realistic,
a lot of pressure. I tried to do Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
That book, right? A lot of us are, and it put a lot of pressure on me to try to do it every day.
But even as you said, writing could be having a notebook on your iPhone and just jotting down thoughts as you go through. Like that's writing. Even if you have one thought a day that you record. And whether you do anything with it or not, it's like at least you're starting to think for yourself and come up with your own unique
that muscle
perception.
Yes, like writing is thinking. Writing is thinking. Just keep going back to that. I mean, I do think that personally, I am a better. I'm better at doing kind of like the last minute race to the end than I am being really good about writing every day and doing things in a methodical manner. I'm very good at like, okay, let's do the last push. I'm going to spend 5 days like hammering this out.
Yeah.
And
Isn't
that
that
works
fun,
for me
though?
well.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Like just going deep and having undistracted space for, you know,
in a
1,
roundabout
3,
way.
5 days, whatever it is, just
Totally.
to go into the rabbit hole and not come out for an extended period of time.
In a roundabout way, it's quite efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even if you're not a writer, if you suck at writing, but you still want to make an e-course, like you can always get your ideas down and then hire a writer to do it for you.
Truth.
That's a thing. People do that. I've done that. I've worked with people in the past where I'm like, here's what I want to say. Here's what needs to be on the page. Like, how would you interpret this? And then I go through and edit it all. I mean, not all the time, but sometimes if it makes sense, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be great. We should hire Ash for our next course.
Totally.
He can write what we say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll pay you $1 million. Oh man, Ash, I want to be respectful of your time. We're 5 after the hour, and I imagine you have important vodkas to drink, given that it's 4 o'clock happy hour.
Yeah,
there.
what the heck, you know?
Yeah.
The lobster hasn't shown up to your door yet. These guys are slow.
It's terrible service.
Yeah.
There's a very cool locals bar across the street from this hotel, and I saw people on the front porch last night. So I was like, I'm going to go over there tonight and say hi.
Hey everybody, I'm from the internet.
I'm from the internet. I'm
Great to see you.
I'm a strong-minded woman. I don't know. Those Amish might get a little curl their beards a little more than usual.
I'm from the internet.
Oh,
Yeah, when I
man.
was checking in, they were very curious. They're like, so, like, are you here for work or are you here for pleasure? And I was like, how do I answer this question?
See.
I don't know.
All of the above.
Yeah.
I'm like not specifically here for work, but I will be working. So there's a mind twister. For
Right.
you.
My work is pleasure.
Yes, all the pleasure.
What a
Yes.
concept.
Congratulations on being fucking awesome.
Yay!
Yeah.
You too. I'm
Yeah.
pumped for what you guys are building. You guys are doing fantastic. I can't
It's-
believe you've grown it so far.
Thanks. Well, it's been 2.5 years of building a fucking internet theme park. Essentially, you know, we're trying to do e-courses right, and it's been a hell of a journey. It's been really hard and really awesome and really fun. You know, like I'm starting to go bald because of the process, and so is Blair behind the ponytail
Holy
right
crap.
up here. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, we all see it, but
Oh,
you don't,
man,
and you
no.
don't see it, so it doesn't matter. You wear your hair
Doesn't
back
matter, I
anyways,
can't
it goes
see it.
right over the. But yeah, it's great to meet other people that are just rocking it, and so congratulations, you're doing it.
So much fun too.
You're an inspiration to everybody.
Well, thank you so much. I can't wait to see what's down the pipeline with all of your new features going on. It's fabulous. Let me know what I can share with our TMF people because they will love you.
Thank you.
We're all about building courses, leveraging our knowledge,
Yeah.
figuring out really smart and exciting ways to earn money in a way that feels good.
Well,
So
Yeah.
bring it
Given
on,
that
boys.
you're- given that you're a saleswoman, I've been thinking about a course for you. I kind of wrote part of a course for you, a themified course that
What?
I would like to pitch you someday because I think it's fucking awesome and I think people would really be excited about it. And we're wanting to produce for about 20 people in the next, fully produce for about 20 people in the next couple of years. And you're definitely at the top of that list. So
I think he's
Oh my God.
our people,
I think he likes you.
our people be in touch with your people.
Listen,
Yeah.
okay, we need to just streamline. Although I will say, I tell people this, I'm like, oh, I really like them. I'm just gonna connect with them personally, but then I never answer my email. So then I look like a jackass anyway. I am the worst.
We'll get our people to talk to your people, and then we'll do lunch.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the worst. You can iMessage me sometime.
We'll bring our Polaroid camera.
All right, could you give the phone number to everybody for iMessage?
Yeah, we probably shouldn't put that on YouTube.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you already have one stalker. You don't need thousands. Yeah.
I've had a few that are really good time.
Where do you want people to go? What do you want them to do to follow your work and to stay in the loop with what you're doing?
Sign up to her fucking email list.
Yeah, and her
Getting
courses.
Yeah.
You just launched Unfuckwithable Freelancer.
I did. Oh my God, we just got the best email today from a girl who was like, I just started this 2 weeks ago. I took your course. It's been like 5 days, and I pitched the way you told me to pitch, and I made $4,500 in this package.
Nice.
My very first client. I was like,
Yeah.
yes, girl. She's like that's like half of my kids' school for the year. She's mind blown, and
Wow.
we're so excited for her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yay! That's what we're talking about. I mean, everybody out there, we're not going to be able to teach you to sell in the way that Ash can. And so you're all building courses. You need to be able to make money. And we're here to teach you how to build really fucking engaging courses. Ash can teach you how to make money with those courses way better than we can. So,
well, yeah, I'm the queen of making money with clients, especially. So
Yeah.
if that's your jam, definitely. I've got a really cool, it's a really nice series that I put together. It's called 25 Days to 100K.
we saw that.
And it's legit like 25 things that I would do if I was starting over as a freelancer. No bullshit. Like, do this and you will get there. So if you go to themiddlefingerproject.org and you spend at least 30 seconds on our site, there'll be a nice little pop-up, and you can opt into that. Yeah.
Okay.
So I know that we
Yes.
don't. I know, like, for the dudes, like, we don't got boobs, but we are babes with balls, and that's part of your thing. Like, are we? Can we go in there? Like, are we?
Yes, so
allowed?
come on in. It's really just it's a marketing thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's a marketing thing, but everyone is welcome.
Yeah.
Of course, as long as you're not like 7, because there's profanity.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, you
Oh,
got
that
17,
sounds highly
17
offensive.
plus. Not like those teenagers don't know how to swear better than we do, but
Yeah.
I should have ID'd you guys before we did this.
Oh, yeah.
Just to make sure.
Did you see the disclaimer at the beginning of the conversation? We're clearly over 17.
Yeah, see, there it is,
There,
right there.
right there.
Just in case you're just getting it now, you tuned in late. Sorry about that.
Actually, we have a confession. Our moms are right over there.
Ooh.
They're here accompanying us for this conversation.
You know what's weird though? Like, some of the most religious friends I've ever met in my life, their moms love me. I don't get it. They just don't. They're
it's
into
a
it.
lifetime of build up, and they're just like, yeah, girl.
Yeah, that's because Jesus spoke the truth, and so do you.
That always freaks me out. And they're like, my mom is reading your newsletter. I'm like, oh my God, what? I gotta see them someday.
I love
Yeah.
Love it. Awesome.
All
Well,
the
thanks.
moms, all the men, yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks so much, Ash, for coming on.
Yeah.
Sharing your wisdom. So great.
Yeah, we're gonna be pitching you, so just watch that.
Yeah.
Watch that.
Oh,
Yeah.
bring it, boys.
Yeah,
Bring
yeah.
it, bring it. In the meantime, I will be walking like an Egyptian over
All
here
right.
in the hotel.
Yeah, with the hula hoops on your ears.
Have fun getting
yeah.
down with the Amish people next door.
Yeah.
Thank
Take
you.
lots of pictures.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Me and Gianni boy, yeah. I'll take some photos.
I can't wait for the next blog post inspired by the Amish. This is gonna be great.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely gonna be inspired by you guys. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll send you the recording of this, and thanks so much. You rock,
Thanks,
sister.
We love you.
Yeah.
You're great.
Yeah.
Dude, I love you.
Yeah.
Aw.
Thank you so much.
Later.
Mwah.
Bye.
We'll see you on the internet.
Bye.
The internet.
On the internet.
Dum dum dum.
So think before you write, folks. Think before you write.
It's kind of like the old think before you speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know what time it is?
What time is that, Bradley?
How did you do that?
Looks like we have 2 bottles of brandy. I just split. It's
Whoa,
perfect.
dude.
Wow.
One for me, one for you. Oh, man, this is great.
Yeah, we gotta talk to Ash more
Yeah,
often.
totally.
She's such a good influence.
Yeah, a weekly call with her. Just join your course.
It's 4 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, totally. It's
Yeah.
at 4 o'clock where Ash is, for God's sake.
It's a true story.
So this week we're going to the red carpet curtains of green screen magic, and we're going to teach you how we did our intro video.
Yeah, that's
This is
right.
actually a totally different intro video than the one I was describing before the show. And I said, let's do the intro video. But this is going to have to do
Oh, this
because we're
isn't the
live.
intro video. What? Which one's the intro video?
The one where we're like on the green screen and then we're on the
I can go
stage. And I'll stall.
You
The-
stall.
So basically, the video we're gonna show you all is like it's a layer within a layer within a layer. And this idea came to us. We're like, how do we best present the idea that you as an e-course creator aren't just here to create courses, you're here to create freaking worlds, because it's not this two-dimensional PowerPoint presentation that's going to draw students in and transform their lives. It's by creating an immersive environment that basically hooks people and brings them in and turns them into more like a character, that they're kind of like a character in your storyline. And so when we built Green Screen Magic, we're like, how do we create that experience where our students can get immersed in this green screen magic world? And that GSM welcome. Right
Yeah,
there.
there you go.
And so this is the video that we came up with to help you. This is the welcome video. So you sign up for greenscreenmagic.com, where we're going to teach you to do all the green screen magic tricks that we do in the Great E-Course Adventure and Art of E-Course Creation, all the other courses that we build now into forevermore, unless we do them in real life without green screen. But basically, this is what sucks you into the world.
All right, let's watch it.
Hit it.
Boom.
Hello and welcome to Green Screen Magic. I'm Brad.
And I'm Blair, and we are two of the creators of the Great E-Course Adventure, as well as this magical journey you're about to go on, where we teach you to harness the power of the green screen to make your e-courses and lessons more exciting.
Green screens have been used in Hollywood for years, and by bringing this technology into the e-learning industry, we're really going to be upping the ante for how online learning can be done, which will ultimately make your courses stand out in the sea of sameness.
So as you might be aware, the student dropout rate in online education is somewhere between 70 and 97%, which...
So, lesson number 1 at E-Course Adventures is that you're not just creating a course. You're creating a world for your students to enter into. So welcome to the world of green screen magic. Pretty snazzy, right? I love that. And I must admit, it's a great excuse to go down to your local costume shop and have some fun.
We definitely had fun there.
So, as the magician of this world, I'm going to show you exactly how to perform these kinds of green screen magic tricks that turn a normal lesson into an immersive learning experience that leave your students starstruck and begging for more.
Sounds great.
And to be honest, speaking from years of
There's
experience,
the camera zoom.
all you really need is a trusty magic wand.
Whoa.
If only it were so simple, Magic Brad.
Blown.
Creating media that entertains, inspires, and effectively engages your audience takes a little bit more than the wave of a magic wand. However, I feel really confident that this course is going to give you the necessary tools, the creative ideas, and the step-by-step know-how to turn your ordinary video lessons into works of art that activate whole brain learning and keeps your students captivated until the very end. So, without further ado, welcome to Green Screen Magic.
Roll it out, Blair. There it is.
Carpet, everybody.
Just for you, folks.
Here's a-
Act 1.
That's our new studio, by the way.
Welcome to Salt Spring Island, the place where the greatest courses on the planet are produced.
There we have it, folks. So,
How did we
do that? How did we do that?
How did we do that, Blair? It was a world within a world.
Yeah. I'm just going to mute this.
And we are two of the creators of the great
No, there we go.
There we go.
Muted.
So obviously, here we are in our green screen studio. Or are we?
Are we? Where are we? So this, how did we do this? So let's look at this. We're looking right now at us in a green screen studio.
Was it our green screen studio, Blair?
No.
It looks like a green screen studio. Maybe it's ours?
It's a much nicer green screen studio than what we even have.
So is that a green screen background
replacing
our
the green screen studio
which
background.
which at the time was our 2-car garage.
Right, yeah, exactly. So as you can see, it's got a really nice light setup. And,
Not real.
Yeah, and so the whole background is actually just a stock footage.
It's fake.
It's a fake one, but it looks real.
Yeah.
And what's really nice too is again that slow zoom in. So it just creates a little bit of movement for the eye, helps kind of keep the eye captivated. Really awesome technique that's used in a lot of movies, cinema, and television these days. And then, we got the long shot. Then we go up to the close shot. Then we go back to the long shot. And then we switch it up. And this was fun. We have the great Magic Brad in the new space. And so it was kind of cool actually being able to do a world within a world within a world.
Yeah.
And
we giggled our silly asses off as we came up with this idea on how to introduce the course and to kind of hook you in so that you basically got it. You want to bring people into the world.
This is
right
normally
away.
how you would do a trailer. Like, hi, we're Brad and Blair, and come enjoy our course. We're going to teach you really good stuff. And then we're just like,
boring.
Yeah, that's old school. This is how we do it around these parts. And so you shoot your magic wand, and then you can see. So this was actually a really beautiful, I guess what we'd call it, template or like a virtual world.
Where did you find it again?
I found it on the interwebs.
Oh, perfect. So if you just search, it'd be easy to find.
We got lucky. I don't know how many, so someone geniusly built this stage setup prior and sold it as a package for us to open up into After Effects. So this is an After Effects world, and I absolutely love it because you can move the lights. So you see there's a spotlight here on Brad, and as you see it actually changes and focuses on him. You can see his shadow a little bit here, and so it's pretty much turns it into a 3D world, which I love.
Yeah,
it just takes a whole heck of a whole shitload. Is this still?
We're still in Ashland right now.
Yeah, this is rated R, everybody. Just so you know, and coming back. So this is really awesome. I love it, but it takes a lot of computer.
Now about the costume. So originally I paid $80 on Amazon and I got the worst costume.
Oh my
ever.
God.
It looked okay in the pictures.
the worst.
And it showed up and we're like, it was like production week and we were like, how are we going to record with this? It was so terrible and so cheesy that Blair was I was like, it could work. But then he was like, no. So I went to Victoria.
Our local city,
and I went to a costume shop, and we spent about $250 renting that for a week, and man, was it worth it. I mean, if you go to greenscreenmagic.com and check out our sales page, I mean, the way that it up-leveled the banner is so much better. The way that all of the videos just come to life so much more. Like, we look so much more badass there than what it would have looked like in the cheesy costume.
It's legit. And that's the thing. If you want to be professional, you have to start acting professional. And sometimes it takes paying professional amounts of money to work with other professionals to just create a complete professional experience for your students.
And I got to say, I felt so much better wearing that costume than I would have if we would have kept this stupid Amazon one. And we got our money back on that stupid costume. So that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wrote back and we're like, this is not what the picture showed. This is terrible, and it's the worst costume ever. We want our money back.
So it was nice. So we have a world within a world, and then Magic Brad pretty much saying that from his experience, all you need is the magic wand. And we're like, sorry,
And
Magic Brad.
I just love how you got you in the forefront. You've got the 2 monitors there, and then it's like the world within the world. It's just that.
Yeah, so we got 1 world, 2 world, 3 worlds.
Now, tell me, Blair,
Yeah,
is that your studio?
Yeah.
That you edited
that's
this in?
that's real life studio.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah. No.
Ah, tricked you again. So it's actually the fake green screen studio, the fake stage, the fake editing studio. It's there's just so many illusions taking place
And you can
here.
see again just the amount of movement in the cameras. It really helps make it look like a real world.
Yeah.
So again, the zoom out, coming in, helps tell the story, opens it up.
Yeah.
And so again, we're just in front of a green piece of fabric here, and everything else is stock. So this is a stock footage of someone's studio. It's an awesome studio. If it's your studio, let us know. That'd be awesome if you're watching this.
Yeah.
And then I superimposed a screenshot of actually my monitor and put it into this monitor. Same with this one here. So, you know, it's taking a little bit of green screen magic to do that.
Yeah.
Hence what we're teaching, greenscreenmagic.com. And
in Green Screen Magic, we teach you to make these worlds. We show you step by step how to edit them. We show you how to do all of the zoom effects, which actually make your lessons way more engaging. It looks like you've got a budget to produce these
they're all
courses.
quite simple, all the little lessons, but it adds up. And that's what happens. So like the whole experience just starts to add up. And
the biggest thing I've learned from Blair here is that it's these little details that make all of the difference. Sure, they take a bit of extra time. Maybe you're going to spend an extra hour, extra 2 hours building your course and editing that one lesson. But at the end of the day, it's how fucking awesome your course is.
totally, because you got to live with that shit.
And it's not talent that separates a good course from a great course. It's just time.
Yeah.
It's just paying attention. It's putting in the extra bits of time. It's not talent. Talent helps, but how do you get talent? Time.
How do you get time?
Schedule that shit in. Schedule
Talent.
your success.
Yeah. Yeah, and then what was nice too, to finish it up and wrap it up, we found this really awesome what do you even call it? It's like off of Fiverr
It was just an intro, outro thing.
piece, you know, and so we were able to get an After Effects artist that creates this, and I gave him specific pieces of media to put in. They put the name across the top, each of the acts. You got Magic Brad and the great Blair Deeney here. And so then he was able to put this together for, what was it, like
$50.
$50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, talk about an epic intro into your learning journey as you learn to do the same type of green screen stuff that we're doing here.
Oh my God. It was, you know, it's a lot of work, but it's so worth it.
Yeah.
You know, this lives forever.
We've
on
got
the
a
internet.
world-class product.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and if you're interested in it, check it out.
It's only $200, and we're going to teach you so much about editing and production.
And not just editing, right? It's about learning how to actually put your shots together, about the small details that I've spent so many years learning myself.
Yeah.
And putting it all into this one course. So therefore you come out as a much better producer round and round. So yeah.
That, and we teach you to present your information. So each act is a different scene that you have to replace me in the scene with you. So you
tell your story.
In the first one, you're in an elevator and you have to give your elevator pitch. In the second one, you're in a bar and we teach you to build the bar. And then you have to basically you meet this events producer at the bar, and you have to give your origin story, like how you got doing the work you're doing and why you believe what you believe, in 2 minutes. And then the third one is you're giving your big talk. We essentially teach you how to build a TED Talk like stage, and then give a 5-minute talk with slides in the background, with multiple camera angles, with zooms and out zooms, like all these things. And imagine if you're the Karate Kid, the wax on, wax off side of the building the course, what you could do in the world of world creation once you learn these skills.
Totally. Yeah. You know, and just like Ash was saying, just like, you know, you got to put your ideas down and you're writing it. So these are all parts of the process because it's designed. It's not just another green screen course. This was designed specifically for entrepreneurs looking to create e-courses.
Yeah.
And we were listening to our students from the Great E-Course Adventure, and this is what they kept asking for. Yeah.
Number one most requested course?
Yeah.
I think
And it's
some
alive.
of our best work. It's so good.
I
too.
know, right?
Yeah, it's only $200. Seriously. Like, even if it takes you the next year to get through, what you're going to learn in the next year is going to be like a university degree for course creators because of what you're going to be able to do.
Yeah. So there you have it, folks.
Pound it. Next week, folks, we have the founder of Mighty Networks coming on board because we're launching our new platform. We're going to share our new online community space, all of the courses, the vision, and we're going to launch the e-course games.
Oh my God.
Where we pay you to build your courses.
Stay tuned. Later. Bye.
Bye.